Hello everyone, this is SillyMickel Adzema, and this is the 13th Prasad of the Great Reveal from the Planetmates. Paraphrasing the 12th Prasad, just to back up a bit, they're saying, after you conquered the Flora Empire, you began conquering your fellow Planetmates of the Fauna Kingdom. Pumped up on the desperate desire to control, you captured, enslaved, and set the life cycle of these independent Earth citizens to ends that would suit only yourselves. The ones you enslaved were ripped from the perfect design of nature. You were beaten into alien, schizophrenic molds, which were the products of human minds, themselves the product of early trauma, that were fearful, obsessive about controlling, crazed, backwards thinking, and overstimulated. It was no longer enough to hunt Planetmates for food. You had the bright idea of owning and growing them, much as you'd done with the earthbound Planetmates, the flora. So you captured these Planetmates out of their perfect, divinely ordained lives in nature, and you kept, grew, raised, trained, ate their offspring, and often killed and ate them eventually, along with other ends of yours that you would dream up for them emanating out of your brains, which were overstimulated, and at this point seeing much of the fully conscious universe, the alive universe around you as dead, including all matter, all the flora kingdom, all the fauna kingdom, and even your own kind who were not like you enough, that is, like those from other tribes or cultures, even those that were different in your own tribe or culture. And even if it was just their age. For example, infants and children were predominantly seen as things not fully living or feeling, and as resources to be exploited or discarded at will. All of this controlling required the final changeover of your lifestyles from nomadic to sedentary. My God, this is the beginning of the couch potato. You needed to be in place to grow food, at least for the growing, harvesting season, but you needed to be sedentary the full year round in order to raise fauna Planetmates. This final phase in your change from nomadic to sedentary lifestyles would be the one major root cause in time of the apocalypse that we see looming before us all today. So that's the 12th Prasad. Now, nothing more needs to be said about that because I've elaborated on that in previous uh, video tape and audio clip. Now, in the 13th Prasad, which I'm having read, I'm labeling it Resisting Defying Divine Assistance. So as we see from the Planetmates, it goes up like this. This drastic switch from nomadic to sedentary life ways was significant for two crucial reasons, each with dire consequences for the long term of all Earth citizens, including yourself. The first crucial reason is the ending of your nomadic life meant a near total break with Divine Providence, whose purposes are twofold. First and foremost, the continued perfect direction and guidance of lives towards the growth and life ways that are optimal to each Earth citizen as determined by the divine, what you call God. For by divine guidance, all Earth citizens in nature are led to their ultimate fulfillment and spiritual progress through the exigencies of what you call fate, but what is actually the divine hand of guidance and benevolent teaching. Hereafter, with your crazed, backwards thinking, you would determine your ends and would resist divine attempts to assist you. You saw difficulties, obstacles, even struggles, deprivations, and pain as to be avoided, instead of the blessings of divinity, who through these means directs, teaches, and guides us in lives to where we end up ever closer and more understanding of our rootedness, rather identity with the divine. So, now, that is the 13th Prasad, as given by the Planetmates. Now, paraphrasing this, what they're saying is your change from nomadic to sedentary lifeways had two significant effects on your species, each of which have been instrumental in creating the apocalypse emergency facing you and all other Planetmates today. Now, the first effect was that of severing your connection with the divine, what you call God, to the point of near total separation. As your Michelangelo painted it, you and the divine touch the end of the fingertip. That is about right. Or this is about right, and quite the fall from grace from what had been and the way it is for all other Earth citizens. Divine Providence serves all Planetmates in two major ways. The first of these is the continued from the womb and birth, throughout life, the continued perfect direction and guidance of our lives toward the growth and life ways that are the best, as determined by God or the all that is, for our ultimate fulfillment and spiritual progress. The divine hand guides and teaches us along perfect pathways through the exigencies of what you call fate. We see difficulties, obstacles, struggles, deprivations, and pain as the teaching tools of the benevolent teacher, guiding us toward lives where we end up ever closer and more understanding of our rootedness and eventually even identity with God. Whereas, because of your crazed backwards thinking and your insistence on trying to control your own destinies, however much more difficult that would be since you resisted and even defied divine assistance, you did all in your power to avoid the divine lessons brought to you through the adventures and exigencies of life, what you call hardships and suffering. So your radical separation from the divine caused you to mistake always the divine lessons and blessings for evil, for wrongness. In this way, you guaranteed your failure in the game of life. As a species, your cumulative failures you piled one upon another as if they were progressive achievements, not the increasing web of disaster that is reaching its culmination today. So, they're saying that when we try to control everything, we try to control even the things that would guide and aid us, would direct us. And these things that would guide, aid, and direct us were the things that we were not coming from our head, that would come from the outside. And, what is guidance except something from the outside? So if we're constantly trying to have life the way we plan it, how can we have it the way we plan it and still get guidance? So this kind of guidance comes to us through the things that we don't expect. And what are those things that we don't expect? Are the hardships, sufferings, the things that we're avoiding, but they're the things that push us or direct us or guide us or teach us or inspire us to change our ways. That's what direction is. These are the things. These are the only things. The things that we don't expect are the only things that can teach us. The things we know, we already know. The things we don't know have to come to us through ways that we don't want. They have to come to us through unexpected ways. They have to come to us through things that we're avoiding. So this is the major wrong-gettedness that we have. Okay. I'm not going to beat this one into the ground. Most people live our lives this way, and we know we're not going to learn except through things that we don't expect. If everything's predictable, we're never going to learn anything. So, I'm going to end it there. That's the 13th Prasad. And this is SillyMickel. I'm out.